I mean, I do just sort of want to riff. I like the sort of cold open beginning, but if I'm not structured, I just ramble on, and then I repeat jokes or I don't get to the punchline. So I think I have to announce it. Anyway. All right, sweetie, should we get started?
Whenever you're ready.
And BOOZHOO! Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to BOOZHOO, NANABOOZHOO. I am NANABOOZHOO, your humble host. Nah. And today, I would like to talk about Bemidji. Let's call this how to properly pronounce the town of Bemidji. You'll notice I said Bemidji. Sometimes on the news, like even people in the cities don't know how to pronounce it. They'll say, oh, there was a big storm last night in the north central city of Bemidji. It's like Bemidji. Like, no, you Bemidji. I'm going to be me. But Bemidji is pronounced that way because it comes from the OJIBWE word Bemidji, which means crossing waters. And it's named after the lake Bemidji, which the Mississippi crosses. And in Ojibwe, when you see the letter E, it's pronounced A, like in the word OJIBWE, OJIBWE. We don't say OJIBWE, we say OJIBWE. So Bemidji is how you pronounce it. Some people like to call it Bemidji because it gets so cold. They're like, it was 40 below last night in Bemidji. And then some people also say Bemidji. I'm going up to Bemidji. I'm going to go to Bemidji. And I think that's just a Minnesota thing. I can't even hear it anymore. Whenever I leave Minnesota, which I try not to do very often, but people will be like, oh, where are you from? And also, I'm from Minnesota. And I'll go, oh, you're from Minnesota, are you? And I'll be like, yeah. Why are you saying it like that? Because I can't hear the long O. Oh, and that's the other thing. I remember when I was a kid, I always thought my grandpa was mispronouncing Onigum. He was like, oh, I got to go over to Onigum this afternoon. You want to come with? We say that too in Minnesota. We like to end a sentence with a preposition. You want to come with? I'm going to Onigum. And most of the people would pronounce it Onigum. And I think that's a Minnesota thing. Onigum. I'm going to Onigum. But it is Onigum in the same way, like in the word Ojibwe. We pronounce our O's the long O, like in Minnesota. So my grandpa was actually right. He was pronouncing it the Ojibwe way, Onigum. So I always call it Onigum now too. And actually a lot of the natives are starting to pronounce it that way too. Or they just call it ONZ. O-N-Z. But so yeah. Anyway, is that enough for a show? Did I do an Ojibwe word of the day? Bemidji Gamuk. Alright. I'm going to call that a very short show. Thank you for watching. Miigwech Ganawabiyeg. BOOZHOO NANABOOZHOO. I am NANABOOZHOO, and I will see you again. Gigawabamin. Minawa. Hawa. Alright. Let's call that a show. Short and to the point. And it looks like we've got about 3 minutes left. Should I riff? Okay, here's a riff. You know, political correctness has just, it's invaded everybody's consciousness. You know, I remember my Uncle Vernon, we had a girl in my class who was developmentally disabled. And my uncle didn't want to call her retarded. He knew that you weren't supposed to say retarded. But he was too retarded to remember how to say developmentally disabled. And so he was like, oh yeah, you know, she's got that, what you call it? You know, she's goofy. I went, goofy? I don't know if that's like hateful or loving. Goofy. She's goofy. I don't know. Maybe goofy isn't such an awful way to say that. But people are always like, oh, what's the right word? And they forget that retarded was the new word. They used to call people with low IQs and developmental retardation. It was a medical thing to be called imbecile or idiot or moron. Say, well, here's my son. Oh, no, don't worry about him. He's an imbecile. And they're like, hey, man, that's not politically correct. Your son is retarded. He's mentally retarded. Now start saying that. It's not nice what you call your son. And then the years go by and they're like, hey, man, quit saying mentally retarded. He's developmentally disabled. And then a few years go by and they're like, hey, man, quit saying that. He's differently developmentally, I don't even know. Meanwhile, the whole premise is based on protecting people with Down syndrome. And, like, who doesn't love people with Down syndrome? If there's one group that doesn't need special protection, it's the group that everybody agrees is awesome. So, yeah, they're goofy. I mean, what, you know, is this YouTube going to be taken down for hate speech? I'm goofy. You know, whatever. But my Uncle Vernon, he's just straight up retarded. All right. Thanks for watching, and I will see you again. Gigawabamin. Min. Minowa. Oh, all right, 37 seconds left. This is my impersonation of a politically correct racist. Look at that pack of N-words. And so, this next song is a song by Jim Croce, and it's called Operator. Operator, can you help me place this call? See, the number on the matchbook is old and faded. She's living in LA with my best old ex-friend Ray, a guy that she said she knew once and almost hated. Isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that. Give me the number if you can find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm fine and to show I've overcome the blow. I've learned to take it well. I only wish my words could just convince myself that it just wasn't real. That's not the way it feels. No, 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 no. That's not the way it feels. Operator, can you help me place this call? I can't read the number that you just gave me. something in my eyes. You know it happens every time. I think about the love that I thought would save me. But isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that. Give me the number if you can find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm fine and to show I've overcome the blow. I've learned to take it well. I only wish my words could just convince myself that it just wasn't real. But that's not the way it feels. No, 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 no. That's not the way it feels. Operator, well, let's forget about this call. There's no one there I really needed to talk to. Thank you for your time. You've been so much more than kind. You can keep the dime. But isn't that the way they say it goes? Well, let's forget all that. Give me the number if you can find it, so I can call just to tell them I'm fine and to show I've overcome the blow. I've learned to take it well. I only wish my words could just convince myself that it just wasn't real. But that's not the way it feels. No, 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 no. That's not the way it feels. Operator by Jim Croce.